Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Danielle. For those of you who don't know me, hi, welcome. I'm so glad you stopped by today. Today we are doing another installment of my series, The Makeup Industry's Race, and today we are talking about Colourpop. And really quickly, I just want to go through some of the releases from the last 10 months from Colourpop. I found an overwhelming amount, and we're just going to talk about it. So they're releasing a new they've released a lot of new ultra glossy lips. They have an ultra glossy lip set coming out. They've released face duos. There's the Fortune palette, and then on the flip side, there's the Fame. There are Super Shock shadows in Birthday Wish that they just released. They brought back some Super Shock shadows to celebrate their birthday. There's the Shayla times Colourpop, or the Makeup Shayla times Colourpop collab. There's the Festival Essentials collection. There's the Colourpop times My Life as Ava collab. There's the Colourpop Butterfly collection, Superstar Loose Pigment Shadows, Element of Surprise palette, Femerosa palette, Luster Dust, Valentine's Day collection, Luxe lipstick in gold packaging. They also have changed that up, and they have new formula of the Luxe lipsticks. The Give It To Me Straight palette, which I didn't even know this palette existed. The My Little Pony palette, the Yes Please palette. There are several other palettes that they've released. It is just an insane amount of products. And that's really what I want to talk about on this video, is how fast Colourpop releases things, because holy cow, it is nuts. And I was trying to go back like 10 months, and like I could have spent all day just looking up Colourpop releases because it is insane. Colourpop is the fast fashion of the makeup world, meaning that they just release after release after release after release after release, and they do not slow down. They are just, it is insane to me, just the amount of stuff Colourpop comes out with. And I do kind of want to just say this. I love Colourpop. I have a lot of lippies from Colourpop. I have some single shadows from Colourpop. I have a couple eyeshadow palettes from Colourpop. I don't have anything like super against Colourpop. I was just kind of in shock of how much they release and how quickly they release things. Like, especially researching it, it's just like, oh my gosh. They release things at such an insane rate that no one can keep up with it. They need to slow down. It's also, in my mind, kind of turning me off to the whole idea of buying anything from Colourpop, because it's not going to be unique. And what I mean by that is I kind of get the feeling that Colourpop, now this might give me some hate, but I feel like they recycle shades. I definitely know that they recycle products. They change out packaging frequently on things, and they throw a couple of new things into certain collections, such as the Butterfly collection, to get people to purchase it. They're very good at that. Their packaging is adorable on some of these collections. So at first, the Butterfly collection drew me in. I was looking at it, and then I was like, wait, none of this looks that new or unique or different from anything else that they've done. And that's something that I've really noticed with Colourpop, is that it's not always the most unique. They are champions of using the pop effect. I mean, let's take the Element of Surprise palette. Where did your eye go? Because everything else is very neutral in this palette. My eye goes right to that pink. Now, had I not got this palette in BoxyCharm, I don't think I would have ever purchased it, because of that. The only thing I want in that palette, or in this palette, is that pink. Everything else, I feel like I already have in other palettes. The other palette I have is the My Little Pony palette. Now, if you take out, I would say this shade, and the purple, and probably this shade here, this darker, it becomes more of a neutral palette again. So that is really, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 shades that like draw me in, whereas everything else is just kind of lackluster and nothing special. Now, I do love this palette, don't get me wrong, but when you start to look at their palettes, it's just not, it's not that big of a deal. Let's take a look at the Fortune palette. This one just came out. Do you guys see anything similar? Because it reminds me of this guy here, and it definitely is that pop of pink in that palette. And very similar tones. It's just a bigger palette. But I feel like if you have this, you won't need that. And then there's the Fame palette, which is like the most neutral palette ever, in my opinion. But that Fortune palette is very similar to the Element of Surprise palette. And I wouldn't be shocked if there weren't some shades that were very similar to that one. Just name something different. Yeah, it's interesting, their marketing, and it works. I mean, people buy it all the time. I bought a ton of Colourpop when I started getting into makeup. I don't regret buying anything from Colourpop, but I do see how they kind of get you with certain things, and it's no surprise that they're just cranking it out because we're buying it. People are buying it. They're not slowing down, so people are going to continue to buy it and 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 buy it. Whereas for me, it makes me want to take a step back and go, do I really want that palette? They're going to come out with something in about 2 weeks that maybe I'll want more. And that's kind of what I've been doing when Colourpop comes out with something. I'm like, do I need it? What's in my collection? Do I already have that? Do I have anything similar? That type of thing. And I think with that, that's kind of how we need to be as consumers, is just kind of really looking at how often they release things. I mean, Colourpop is at a very inexpensive price. I mean, their price ranges range from about $5 to about $90. And the $90 is for full sets of like some new things that are coming out. And it's pretty incredible that they can make it that affordable and have such awesome products. But you also have to think about, at that point, like, do you really need 900 lippies? I mean, in the beginning, I thought I did. If you've been with me a while, you know I have a huge collection of Colourpop lippies. And after a while, when you start ordering them, a lot of them start to look the same. Some of them have different names, but they're very similar. And that kind of made me realize, okay, I need to back off buying so much from Colourpop, because there is seriously a range of color that I like to stay in when it comes to Colourpop and their lippies. Like, I have a lot. I still have a lot, even though I decluttered a ton of them. So for me, it's more like looking at Colourpop going, is this unique? Is this something that's going to add value to my collection? Or is this just the next big thing that everyone's hyping and they're making me want to buy it? I really have started thinking about those things, because everything that's in my collection, I want to be able to use and I want to enjoy using, versus just buying it to review it and to show it to you guys and to hop on the hype train. I mean, there's nothing wrong if that's what you like to do, if makeup is your collection, if you're doing it as more of a collection than anything else. But for me, it's more like I want to get some use out of it. I spent the money on it. I want to use it. I want to be able to see it in my collection if I'm going to pick it up. And with the rate that Colourpop releases things, and if I continue to buy, I would feel like certain things in my collection would get neglected. So there's kind of my 2 cents on the rate at which Colourpop releases things, which is insane. What are your guys' thoughts? Leave them down below. Do you guys think that Colourpop needs to slow their roll and maybe not release so many things all at once? Or do you love that they release so much? And do you think that it's great that they're constantly coming out with new products? Let me know down below. It is totally okay if you do not agree with what I've said here. I am fine with that. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do hope that you have a wonderful day, night, wherever you are, and bye!